So much to unpick from that England match here against Republic of Ireland. So many firsts as well. Tino Livramento made his debut. Lewis Hall made his first start. Taylor Harwood-Bellis, his debut and his first England goal. First goals as well for Anthony Gordon, Conor Gallagher and Jared Bowen. Extraordinary. First time, I think, in more than half a century that England have had 4 goal scorers, first-time goal scorers on the same match as well. So extraordinary game after a dismal first half. Ron, what were your main takeaways from it?
I think I was trying to think of this from Thomas Tuchel's perspective, the incoming manager, and I think he will definitely have seen the good and the bad of what he can expect from this England team. The first half, it was very much almost back to the pre-Southgate days where you play a low block, there's nerves, you can feel the nerves in the team and around the stadium.
It was so quiet in Wembley, wasn't it?
It was, exactly. But I think that's one of those games where you need the fans to be got off their seats by the players, and it was too much inside, slow, backwards, the tempo wasn't there wasn't enough movement. Second half, with a lorry load of salt here, with a caveat of playing almost all of the second half against 10 men, England were superb. Second half was a completely different game. Those 3 goals in 6 minutes, they really took advantage of Ireland's collapse. As I said, against 10 men, but you went from a team looking so nervous before half time and so inhibited that, as I said, before the Southgate era where we became used to goals against so quote unquote lesser teams, and then second half, 5 goals, little backheel Rabona from Conor Gallagher at one point. It was like watching 2 different teams, and I think Tuchel will obviously want a lot more of the second and then want to know exactly how he can get rid of the sort of thing that happened before half time.
In terms of what Thomas Tuchel took from that though, look, we know he's watching from afar. He hasn't been involved in this camp, but Lee Carsley's just said in the post-match news conference he's going to produce a document, a dossier, that he's going to hand over and go through with Thomas Tuchel in the next couple of weeks. For me, a lot of players impressed tonight. A lot of players with their first goals and their debuts, special moments for them, but we have to remember that there were 10 senior England players, key England players, who withdrew from this squad because of injury. That's unprecedented, and that's on top of that, you've got the likes of John Stones and Luke Shaw and Kobbie Mainoo, who were injured before that. That's 13 key players. So how many of those guys that did really well tonight will be part of Thomas Tuchel's plans going forward? I think that's a key question, but it does show England have got a bit of strength in depth. But go on, give us a quick good, bad and the ugly then from your perspective.
Well, I think it's quite simple tonight. The good, the second half; the bad, the first half; and the ugly, from an Ireland perspective at least, the way that they capitulated. 3 goals in 6 minutes is, in the words of the Ireland manager, whose name I'm not going to try and say, embarrassing. Oh, there we go, professional.
Okay, so listen, my quickly the good, the bad and the ugly. The good, Lee Carsley, very pleased for him. He's had a tough time. He's had some really harsh treatment by the media. You look at the way he was treated before the first Ireland game in Dublin, where it was outrageous what some of the newspapers did to him for refusing to sing the national anthem. So he's the good for me. Break down a low block. Hopefully when they've got some of their key players back, they can unpick it with a little bit more sophistication. And then the ugly, these things. I am absolutely sick of paper aeroplanes at Wembley. Most people throw them better than that, Ron.
It was a good effort.
It was a poor effort.
In towards Walker. Just because